Welcome to Mindful Minutes with Jillian. I'm so glad you're here. Here you'll find meditation, mindfulness, yoga, and other therapeutic exercises designed to help you reset, re energize, and be your best self. Hello, and welcome back to Mindful Minutes with Jillian. Today, we're going to focus on a centering practice that is designed to help us with calming our nervous system and reconnecting with our inner strengths. I'm so glad you're here today, and whether you're feeling overwhelmed, tense, distracted, a little off, or maybe you're perfectly content today, whatever you're feeling, I'm glad you're here. Today, I would like us to focus on just pausing and reconnecting. If we are feeling a little bit off, a little bit stressed, tense, whatever, I would like you to remember that we're not asking you to fix things today. We're not asking you to solve all of your problems. We're not asking you to perform or even be productive. We're just asking you to be and to just show up as you are. During this session, we're going to focus on calming stress and anxiety while also reconnecting with our strengths. These are the parts of us that have already helped us get through tough times in our life. They've already helped us navigate life's challenges and struggles. Sometimes those strengths feel distant or hard to access, but today we're going to get back in touch with those. Remember that everything we do is optional, and if at any point it doesn't feel right or comfortable, that's okay. You can skip it, you can move on, you can just center yourself with a little bit of mindfulness or deep breathing. But let's get started with some gentle centering by reconnecting with our breath and body on our next slide. Let's start by taking a moment to connect our feet to the floor. So maybe you're sitting on a couch, on a chair, on floor cushions with your knees bent. Let's take a moment, just feel the soles of our feet connecting with the floor beneath us. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. Maybe take our hands to our chest or rest them in our lap and take a few deep breaths. Breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Again, in through our nose, out through our mouth. Go ahead and continue with that slow cycle of breath in and out. And as you continue with your breath, see if you can feel your spine lengthen. Let the shoulders slide away from the ears. Let the collarbones expand wide. Feel your rib cage expand with each breath as you invite peace and comfort into the mind and body. With each exhale, relax into the space that you've created. Relax into the present moment and see if you can release any tension that is housed within your body. Continue to breathe in and out. And if your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the sound of my voice and the gentle flow of the inhale and exhale. Take a moment to notice where your body is holding any tension. In the shoulders, the neck, the back. Don't try and change it. Don't try and force it. Just notice. And just give yourself permission to release and relax a little bit more with each breath. And remember, it's okay to feel tension. It's okay to feel stress. It just means that we're responding to the world around us. And right now, what we're doing is offering ourselves a moment to rest, release, and relax. Opening our eyes, we're going to take just a moment to connect with this mindfulness exercise of putting ourselves in this image. Imagine you are sitting here. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What does it feel like? In a moment, I'm going to guide you through a couple different breathing exercises that you can take with you wherever you need. You can use them when you're stressed. You can use them when you're anxious. You can use them when you're frustrated or angry. You can use them first thing in the morning to connect with the mind and body before you start your day, or you can use them at night before you fall asleep. Whatever you wish, these are great exercises to just reconnect anytime you need a moment. Do you ever feel like your mind is racing or your breath is really shallow and tense? Do you ever feel like you're getting dizzy or lightheaded and sometimes you forget to just breathe deeply? When our mind and body are just on the go and we're not connecting with our breath, it can kind of feel like a race car that's going off the tracks. We want to be in the driver's seat of our breath. So, the next few slides, I'm going to show you some different exercises we can do to regain control. So, just like this car on the road would navigate the ups and downs, slow and steady, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So, if you want to, you can take your finger and maybe trace in the air. On the inhales, we're going to follow the road up. On the exhales, we're going to follow the road down. Inhale, follow the road up. Exhale, follow the road down. And again. One more. I like this exercise because it's just a playful take on deep breathing, just imagining our mind is like a car and we're gently guiding it up and down through the hills and the valleys. This next exercise is triangle breath, and this is all about the pause. So instead of just focusing on the inhales and the exhales, we're going to add a brief pause. So we're going to inhale up one side of the triangle for about 3 counts, hold on the other side of the triangle for 3 counts, exhale on the bottom of the triangle for 3 counts. Try together. Inhale, hold, exhale. And again, inhale, hold, exhale. This is an excellent breath to do if you're feeling in a state of panic or anxiety. It can help pause and reconnect you to the present moment. And this third breath is also very similar to the triangle breath, but we're going to add 2 holds. So on one side of the square, we're going to inhale for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3, hold for 3. And again, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And again, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. You can play with the counts on this too. You can inhale and exhale for longer, hold for shorter, inhale for 4, hold for 6, exhale for 4, hold for 6. Play around and see what feels best for you and what your mind and body need in that moment. Now that we are centered and relaxed, let's go ahead and check in for a moment on our stress levels. Take stock for a moment. What is it in your life right now that's weighing on you? What are the things in your life right now that are making you feel a bit heavy, a bit stressed, a bit tense? If you could take one thing off of your plate this week, what would that be? Pause and contemplate these questions. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open, but just think, what does stress feel like in my body today? If my stress had a message, what would it be trying to tell me? And what feels hardest right now? Not in general, but today, in this moment, what feels the hardest? And as we pause and reflect on these questions, I want you to remember that none of these answers mean that you are broken. None of these answers mean that you're failing. None of these answers mean that you're not on the right track. They just mean that you are human. When we're dealing with stress, one of the greatest things we can remember is that we have strengths. We all have strengths within us that have helped us in the past, can help us in the present, and will continue to help us in the future. But stress can shrink our perspective, and it often tries to lie to us or convince us that we're not capable, that we're not good enough, strong enough. Um, it convinces us often that things are too heavy or things are too much. And oftentimes, if we pause, there's evidence of the contrary. There's evidence that shows us I've been here before and I've succeeded before, and I know I can do it again. So, right now, with these next reflection questions, we're going to widen that lens a little bit. I would like you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable and connect with your breath, of course, and think about a time. It can be recent, it can be more distant, but think about a time when you got through something difficult, when you faced a challenge or a struggle. You don't need all of the details, you just need the core memory. Maybe it was a challenging time with a friend or a coworker. Maybe it was a health struggle, a challenge at work. Maybe it was a difficult time mentally or emotionally that you had to push through. Maybe there were struggles academically, or a challenge in childhood or adolescence. Maybe it was a personal struggle. Whatever it was, take a moment to think. And as you think about this moment, I want you to reflect on the following questions. What personal strength helped you then? What did you do to survive or to cope during this challenging time? And what do you think that says about you? These strengths and your ability to move through discomfort and challenging times. And then I want you to take a moment to reflect on how you resolved that struggle. What did it feel like to come out on the other side of it? Or maybe if it's still a challenge or a struggle, what's the next right step? What would help push you through? How difficult was it for you to pause and reflect or call to mind or name some of the strengths that you have used in the past? For some of us, it's really easy to highlight our strengths. We're really self aware in that way, and we can really isolate and point out things that we do, or character traits that we have, or strengths that we have that have really carried us through challenges in the past. But for others, it can be a challenge. It can be really difficult to point out what those strengths are. And if you need a reminder, or you need a little push or encouragement, I'd like to go over some strengths with you. And I want you to ask yourself, does this resonate with me? Is this a strength that I have? And as I read these strengths, I want you to just kind of ask yourself, when is a time that I might have displayed this strength? Self awareness, emotional intelligence, self compassion, emotional regulation, patience, resilience, courage, vulnerability, optimism, emotional flexibility, showing up even when it's hard, trying again after disappointment, setting limits, resting without guilt, asking for help, saying no, staying kind under stress, choosing healing, endurance, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, curiosity, open mindedness, insight, perspective taking, focus, adaptability, intuition, motivation, initiative, discipline, goal setting, follow through, commitment to growth, willingness to learn, openness to feedback, courage to change, self reflection. And of course, this is not an all inclusive list. There are many other strengths that you might have. And for just a moment, I want you to pick two. Maybe they're on this list, maybe they're not. And I really want you to focus on how these strengths have worked for you in the past. And I want you to feel the sense of power and strength and courage that kind of come, and the confidence that come with knowing that you have these strengths as tools. For me, two that jump out to me are vulnerability. I love viewing vulnerability as a strength. Vulnerability is what allows communication and compromise and growth and healthy relationships to occur. And being vulnerable has really been a strength for me in connecting deeper in my relationships and learning more about myself and what I need and asking for what I need. And along those lines, learning to say no has also been a strength for me. I've always been a yes person, a people pleaser. Many times I've put others before myself, and while it might feel good in the moment to be a martyr or be the person I know that people can always come to, in the end, it leads to burnout. It leads to stress. It leads to illness. Sometimes even feeling used or unseen. And learning to say no is a strength. So, what two strengths would you say are your biggest right now? Now we're going to build a little bit more on these strengths. So, we just identified two, and let's see if we can take that a little bit further. Maybe you're even thinking back to childhood or adolescence. What were things that people always said about you that were positive? Were you creative? Were you kind? Were you confident? Were you athletic? Were you great with music? What were these strengths? And I want to kind of metaphorically and artistically build out this foundation of strengths for us. So, if you want, you can draw on a piece of paper or just imagine in your mind. But imagine these building blocks right here, these 6 building blocks. And I want you to put in 6 different strengths that you have that are a great foundation for you to rely on when you're going through a struggle or a challenge or a difficult time. I chose 6. I chose one that represented teamwork. I'm really great with working with other people. I value my connections with other people. I value my relationships, and I really rely on those connections to help me and help others and help my community. I also honor my boundaries. This goes back to that saying no that I just talked about. I'm creative. And creative doesn't necessarily mean I can draw or I can paint, but it means that I have all of these ideas in my head that are really creative, and I can use those in my work, in my relationships, in my leisure time. I think that I'm intelligent. I'm also a lifelong learner, though. I rely on my intelligence, but I also rely on my uh, craving of knowledge. I continue to learn more every day. I work towards my goals. I don't give up. If I have a goal, I I will work towards it until I complete it. I might pivot, I might make changes, I might pause, sometimes I might even take a step back or two, but I always work towards my goals. And I'm also very kind. I do value kindness and compassion and humanity, and those are 6 strengths that I rely on when I'm going through a challenging time or a struggle. So, what 6 strengths might you have to build this foundation? And how can you continue to build on those strengths to work towards your goals, be your best self, and live a life that is fulfilling? Go ahead and spend just a couple moments kind of thinking that through. Your 6 foundational skills. And now, one of my favorites are writing prompts. So take a moment, maybe grab a pen and pencil, grab some colored pencils or some gel pens or markers in fun colors, grab a drawing tablet, a whiteboard, paint and paintbrush, whatever it is. Or you can kind of just imagine writing in your mind or using your finger to write in the air or on the carpet. Maybe you just put these journal prompts down as something to come back to later today or later this week if you'd like. But the prompts I would like you to spend your time on right now are: when I'm under stress, I tend to forget that I am someone who. A strength I've used before even if imperfectly, is. In one small way, this strength still shows up in my life is. Let's spend a moment writing down our thoughts. If all three are too much to do right now, maybe you pick the one that resonates with you most and you come back to the others later. But let's take a moment. If you have trouble sometimes completing these prompts, that's okay. You don't have to complete them now. You don't have to complete them ever. But sometimes it's helpful just to think about it and maybe write down the prompt, give yourself time to process, and then come back later and check it out. If you're not done, that's okay. Take all the time you need. Writing is supposed to be an activity that helps us take those thoughts out of your brain and put them down on paper and kind of clear out some of that mental noise that sometimes helps us or sometimes doesn't help us relax, sometimes keeps us from falling asleep or being focused or present. Writing can also help us to get back in touch with different parts of ourselves. So maybe we've forgotten how strong we are. Maybe we've forgotten how different strengths show up for us. And when we pause and think and then put it down on paper, we bring that back to the forefront of our mind. So, one of my answers was a way that one of my strengths continues to show up, a way that my creativity continues to show up is that when I have a problem, I like to think outside of the box. I like to come up with different ways that I might address that problem and see which way I resonate with, which way is more fun, which way is more engaging, more exciting. A way that my intelligence or my love of knowledge continues to show up is that if I don't know something, I seek out answers. I don't like to not know. And I think that's a strength. If I have a problem or if I kind of hit a speed bump, I'm going to go in search of the information. What is the information I need to solve this problem? Let's go ahead and come back to our body for a moment. Ask yourself if you feel any different in your body now than you did at the beginning. Do you feel any lighter? Do you feel any more relaxed? Is your breath any deeper? Where are we at? I'd like you to take a moment and place one hand on your chest, maybe one hand on your belly as you can feel your breath. Inhale, expand, and exhale, release. If you want to keep your hands there, that's fine. If you want to bring them back down to your lap, that's okay too. But as we get ready to close out on this part of our journey today, I'd like you to focus on the following reflections. I am doing the best I can with what I have today. My stress does not define me. I have strengths even on hard days. Which one of those resonates most with you today? And can you take that affirmation and carry it with you today, tomorrow, next week? I am doing the best I can with what I have today. That's grace and gentle acceptance. My stress does not define me. That's removing yourself, separating yourself from the stress. I have these stressors. They are not who I am. I have strengths even on hard days. That's reminding ourselves that even when things are challenging, there are things within our control. There are tools we have. There are strengths we have to help us through. And is there maybe one word or phrase that you like to carry with you? It can be one of these. It can be another one. For me, I'm going to carry through my stress does not define me. And I'm going to add that word or that phrase. Just breathe. Coming back to my breath whenever I need to. And the next part of our activity today is going to be some mindful movement. We're going to move through some yoga postures to help move some strength and confidence through our body, get us feeling grounded and empowered. Before I guide you through the movement exercise, let's just get acquainted with the postures we're going to be using. And when we do this pose, I want you to feel grounding. I want you to feel strength. I want you to feel stability. We're also going to be doing a forward bend or a hang. And here we're balancing that strength and that power with surrender. It's always a balance of letting go, surrendering, and releasing. Sometimes it's not about the fight, it's about the release. We'll be utilizing our tree pose where we're going to be focusing on a sense of calm, focus, confidence, and bringing balance into our life. And then we'll focus on a sense of empowerment, clarity, and resilience with our warrior pose. With our triangle pose, we'll be focusing on openness, clarity, and flexibility, but not just in the physical sense, but flexibility as a mindset. And then as we come into a deeper pose with our bent knee, we're going to be focusing on compassion, courage, and maybe even acceptance. To get started, go ahead and come to a standing position. And you don't need a ton of room, just enough room to spread your arms out and take a wide leg stance. But we're going to start standing nice and tall. And maybe just rock forward and back on your heels and toes for a moment. And then come back to stillness. Let's go ahead and lift up our toes, spread them out, and stretch them back down onto the ground. And to start in our mountain pose, we're going to keep our hands at our side. We're going to let our fingertips reach down towards the ground, the soles of our feet press into the ground. Let the crown of your head, the top of your head, reach towards the ceiling. You can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open, whatever feels best. Focus on the breath, deep inhales, slow exhales. Let's tuck the tailbone slightly under. Hug the belly button in towards the spine, engaging your core. See if you can widen across the collarbones and the shoulder blades. See if you can feel your spine lengthen as you inhale, standing nice and tall. And as we exhale, press down through the soles of the feet, feeling grounded, stable, and connected to the present moment. Take your hands to your heart for a moment and call to mind one of those strengths we identified earlier. On an inhale, let's go ahead and take our hands all the way up, Bringing our palms together, keeping our shoulders away from the ears. Bringing our hands back down on an exhale. One more inhale. This time we'll keep our hands apart, shoulder width. Shoulders sliding down the back, fingertips reaching towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to come into a fold. So we'll bring our arms down, we'll bring our chest down towards the ground, grabbing hold of the opposite elbows, letting your head, crown of your head, reach down towards the ground. You can keep your legs straight or put a slight bend in the knee, maybe even twisting or swaying side to side. Then back to stillness, just releasing and relaxing into that fold. Hold here for 2 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And rising all the way back up, arms come overhead. And back down to the sides. Maybe even just twisting. Going to get ready to come into our tree pose. So back to stillness. We'll start by pressing the weight into our left foot. I like to bring my hands to my heart, but you can keep them off to the side. You can raise them up, whatever feels best for you. I'm going to start gentle by just bringing our right heel to our left ankle. Ball of the right foot is still on the ground. Try to keep your hips stable, pelvis pointed forward. And stand here for a moment, finding your balance. Once you have it, you might move the foot up to the inside of the lower leg, maybe all the way up to the upper part of the leg. Whatever feels best for you. And notice how the body makes small motions to adjust and keep balance. And that's what we ask of ourselves throughout the day. Make small motions, mentally, physically, emotionally, to move through our environment. Take another deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. And bring that foot back down. Bring those arms overhead again. Exhale either back to the heart center or let your arms hang down to the side or bring them all the way back up, whatever you want to do. Press down through the right foot this time. Bring the left ankle to the heel, letting the ball of the left foot rest on the ground. Don't rush. Find your balance. And then maybe when you're ready, we move that foot to the inner lower leg or the inner upper leg. My socks are slippery today. It's okay if we lose our balance. I'm going to stay down here. Whatever you wish to do today. Isn't it interesting how sometimes one side is much more balanced than the other? Some days are going to be like that too. Some days will feel more stable and steady. Other days it'll feel like we're struggling to find our footing, but that's okay. That's okay. Imagine the sole of your right foot is grounding you down through the earth like the roots of a tree. Crown of your head is reaching nice and tall like the branches. Taking one more breath in and out. And bringing that left foot back down. Go ahead and roll out those ankles before we step into our Warrior Two pose. We're going to start with our left leg, and we're going to come into a wide leg stance. Feet are slightly wider than hips width. And our right foot is going to be pointing out. Our left foot is going to be pointing straight ahead. And our left heel should be about in line with the arch of our right foot. We're going to start to put a bend in our left knee. You might have to scoot your foot out a little bit further. We want that left knee to stay right over that left heel. We're going to bring our arms up to shoulder height. We're going to press down through the outside edge of our right foot, and we're going to keep our torso centered right in between our hips. Now our left fingertips are reaching over our left knee, but our shoulders are staying nice and square. Feel that power and strength in your left leg. Standing nice and tall. Feeling confident and strong. Maybe even pausing to reflect on a challenge you've overcome recently, or a struggle you're currently dealing with that you know you have the tools to handle. Take one more deep breath and exhale. Go ahead and straighten that leg. Step back together and we'll switch sides. So now our right foot will be pointing forward, left foot will be pointing out. We're going to start with our feet slightly wider than hips width. Right foot, right heel should be in line with the arch of the left foot. Begin to put a bend in that right knee. Make sure your knee doesn't come over the ankle. Bringing our arms up. Gazing over the fingertips. Torso is centered. And again, feeling that same strength now, just on the opposite side. Maybe even saying to yourself, I am strong. I am capable. I am confident. I can handle the things that life brings my way. Even if I need help, I know I can make it through. Take in one more deep breath. And step back together. Go ahead and roll out those ankles for a moment. We're just going to come briefly back to that mountain pose. Bring those arms overhead. Bring those hands to the heart. Find your footing, feeling stable and grounded. On your next exhale, folding forward, grabbing hold of those opposite elbows, maybe bending the knee, swaying side to side for a moment, coming into that release. And then standing all the way up, arms overhead, back to center. We're going to get ready for our triangle pose. So similar to our warrior, taking that wide step, we'll start with our left leg forward. And again, we want that left heel in line with the arch of the right foot. We want that outside edge of the right foot pressing down, keeping us grounded. We're going to start really simple. We're just going to take our left hand to our hip. We're going to tip just like the little teapot song. Keep our hips and shoulders stacked, reaching our right arm up to the ceiling. If it feels okay, you might bring your left hand to the thigh. You might bring it down to the lower leg, feeling a deeper stretch behind that thigh. You might even be able to bring the fingertips to the ground, just making sure your hips and shoulders stay stacked. If it feels better to look down at the ground, you can do that. Whatever feels best for you today. Hold for another breath. And putting a bend in that left knee, coming back up. Stepping together, we'll do the other side. So right foot forward, heel in line with the arch of the back foot, pressing down through that outside edge of the back foot. Starting simple, right hand on the hip, bending forward, hips and shoulders stacked. Reach the opposite arm to the ceiling. Notice that stretch along the left side of the rib cage. Breathe into it. Maybe experiment with sliding the hand down. See if you can keep opening that chest more towards the ceiling. Opening up through the chest, expanding the rib cage. Maybe sliding down a bit further. Whatever feels best for you. Check in with your breath. Make sure it hasn't fallen shallow. Deep inhales and exhales. And when you're ready, we'll put a bend in that knee and we'll come back up. We're just going to repeat that on the other side, but this time put a deeper bend in the knee. We're going to get a little bit more flexibility here. So like we're coming into that triangle again on our left side, but this time we're going to start with the bended knee. Make sure the knee doesn't go over the ankle. And we can just start with our hand on the thigh, reach that right arm up. If it's okay, we'll come down to the forearm. If it's okay there, we might place the hand on the ground. Really spin that chest open. Press your left arm into the left leg, opening up through the hips. Deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring those arms down to the front, step together, roll on up, and we'll do the other side. That right foot forward. Put a bend in the knee. Hand on the hip, left arm up. Begin to tip. Hips and shoulders stay stacked. Maybe we come down to the forearm. Maybe we come down to the ground. Deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more, holding strong. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing those arms down. Stepping together, rolling back up, and let's end with one more fold in mountain pose. Bring those arms overhead, folding down. This time let our hands come all the way to the ground. Let our head hang heavy. Maybe we put a bend in those knees. Take a couple deep breaths, releasing any stress or tension in the body. Slowly rolling all the way back up. Bring those arms to the ceiling. Palms together. Back to the heart. Take a moment, connect with the heartbeat. Connect with the breath. And remind yourself, I am strong. I am capable. I can do hard things, even if I need a little help. Thank you for joining. This has been Mindful Minutes with Jillian. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. Remember, be kind to your mind, and I hope to see you next time.